Through those houses, like I've been with different sanitation companies. I've seen the good and the bad, and you wouldn't think such a small thing plays a big part in your day, but it does.
Okay, what was your name?
Mike.
Valerie.
Thank you guys for letting me in your home.
Previously, we rented a home. When you have a maintenance team and when you have a rental company, they kind of take care of all of that for you. Going into this, it was just like we had to take into a bit more consideration about, okay, what are things that we are looking for and are best for us when looking into sanitation companies?
The two biggest things, right, are trust and consistency for me, because if you're not consistent, I can't depend on you. So that also in turn builds the trust. Will they do what they say when they say it? And can I call them and have them fix it if I need it fixed? You take a look at like a lot of different trash service companies. Like I've rented for quite a long time in homes in general, so I'm not like foreign to setting up utilities or finding these providers, but for the most part, they're provided to you, right? You're kind of stuck with those set utilities, whether it's sanitation or water, whatever it is. Through those houses, like I've been with different sanitation companies. I've seen the good and the bad, and you wouldn't think such a small thing plays a big part in your day, but it does. Trash is delayed, they don't show up consistently on time to pick up what you need. Well, you're behind on something that maybe you did need to go ahead and get rid of a lot of stuff, but now everything's piled up and now you're behind by a week. That's really, it creates this unneeded stress that you didn't think would even exist. Red Oak Sanitation in general has been super consistent. I had one rental house before owning a home in particular where we were given that company because we had to, by the rental company. And we had weeks where trash was missed and it was piling up and it kept happening like every other week. And it was such a pain. And when I tried to get on the phone with them, half the time it was hard to get a hold of them. The other half of the time they weren't very helpful and weren't sure they were looking at the right account the entire time, which was very stressful. I actually went out of my way and got Red Oak Sanitation Service at that time because it was way more consistent and I knew I could trust them. Being consistent and on time and not missing a day, that's huge. Timing is everything.
It's very comforting to know that at this certain day, I expect that the trash is going to be taken care of. I can just kind of go on with my day, but also too, something that I really appreciate is if a holiday happens to fall on a day that is trash pickup day, I at least know they do just such an amazing job with communicating that to us as well, which is something I very much appreciate, is knowing that we can have this set to autopilot, and either way, if something changes, we still feel like we're in the loop, even if we don't have to be poking our head in and making sure that everything is flowing as it should, which I really do appreciate in having.
I think the biggest standout thing was the customer support, believe it or not.
It's amazing.
It's something you don't think about, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, if something gets messed up, you should be able to trust the company that you're paying to be able to help you in that, One example would be I had a day where I didn't roll out my cans at the right time to the street,
Yeah.
I don't know how long it had been since the truck passed, but I was able to get on the phone with a real person who immediately was able to check in with the driver, find out where they were at, get in contact with them, and then let me know that they'll turn around and come pick up my trash. And that was a big deal. Talk about building trust, that's the biggest moment I've had of trust building with this company.
I trust Red Oak because they made something so easy during a very stressful and intricate time in our lives where we had a lot of things going on, and it was just nice to know that we could have a peace of mind, at least with this one aspect of our lives.